Well, now, just in case you've been living under the rock for quite a long time, guess what? The dollar has actually hit the all-time high of 162 Kenyan shillings. What does it mean? Like if you have $1 and you land in Kenya, you have yourself 162 shillings. And by the way, go there, buy that dollar from a bank. They can even tell you 170, sometimes even 171. So what exactly does it tell you? Bro, sister, this is a tough times ahead. And by the way, brace for the tough times ahead. But guess what? Here on this good channel, Good Joseph channel, we talk about the areas on how we can be able to dodge, this kind of economical effects and what are some of the areas we can adjust. Because remember one thing, only a fool does not change his mind. And if you're smart enough, you can always adjust yourself so that you can accommodate that was happening. I always tell people, control the controllables. There are things that are out of your frame. You cannot be able to control them. Those ones, you leave them. The ones that you can be able to control them, then you're good to go. All right, let's get into the business now. Exactly what can we do? All right, and by the way, you know what? This information I'm sharing with you for free. And today I'm telling you, you know what? Tell me thank you. Not just by just typing, but also to liking this video. That's like telling me thank you, and also subscribe. Okay, what's the importance of subscribing? Is that I usually post a video each and every day, giving you tips how to make money, how to spend it, how to invest it, to grow it and expand your territories. All right, so if you don't want to miss any of good of my videos, make sure that you subscribe. All right, let's get to the business. And by the way, don't forget as well to comment. Now, here it is. We have one USD. One USD is actually 162 Kenyan shillings. The reason as to why this is happening, obviously, well, I know people come in, and I know probably from the country that you're watching me from. In Ghana, I had the CDs all the way above 11 CDs or something of sort. Guys who are watching from Ghana can confirm things. Like, let's say, like the entire continent of Africa is complaining by the rising of a dollar against their local currencies, okay? And let me just give you a little bit of hint what is happening. See, after the COVID-19, obviously people were not working. Then it means that the productivity in that given country was not there, not only in the US, but the entire world. So what happens? They used to give what we call the stipend. Did you used to hear that the US is giving the citizen, I don't know, around 1,200? So those guys were just printing money. So they print money. For example, if they print, like, let's say $1 trillion, yeah, out of thin air. You see, economically, money ought to be worked for people. People work, pay taxes, the government gets the money. But they just turn on the machines, they print money, and then they take that money, they give it to people. See, if you make money out of a thin air and has not been produced economically, then you have to pay for that price. They realize that is exactly what has happened. So what happens? They raise the interest rate. So once they raise the interest rate so that they can curb that what they printed during the COVID-19, a whole sort of an year with less productivity, then that's the effect that you're having out there. Why? Because dollar is called, that base currency. Is that currency that sort of the entire world actually backs on it. Like everyone who is out here breathing right now as we speak, their wealth is actually determined by the USD. Everything is traded using the USD. The buying of fuel, buying of oil, anything and everything, especially if when you're doing the international trading, you use what? USD. Okay, fine. Now I have explained that in a very simple language for you to understand why this is happening. And obviously this can also be affected by your local government, policies and agendas and all those kind of things. For example, in our Kenya, they have their own way of explaining why it's happening in whatever. I don't want to go the political way. The point is this: it is 162. That's the reality that we have. That is the new kid in town. So what exactly do we do? Okay, what you do is that you have to understand one thing. Tough times are coming. Why is this tough time coming? For example, today, during this morning, or maybe tomorrow, or during supper, whatever the time you're watching this video, you probably took yourself some cereals, you took to something related to a wheat, and that wheat, your country buys from international markets. And for them to actually, those companies to buy that wheat to process the wheat flour, they actually have to use your local currency. If you're watching this from Ghana, they take the CDs, they take that CD to the bank, they sell it and buy what? A US dollar. Now they go with that US dollar to the Ukraine to buy the wheat for them to come with that wheat to process to sell to you. So when the dollar is increasing, then it becomes expensive for them to buy that dollar to actually do what? Import the wheat. So when the thing happens, they actually pass that cost to who? To you, who is the consumer. And that's where you are here as a consumer. All right. But who talks about the consumer? Nobody. I mean, except good Joseph, okay? Now, everything and anything, that car that you're gonna use, that road, that daladala, that matatu, that taxi, if you're watching this from Uganda, they're gonna consume the fuel. That fuel is always imported in what? In dollar-denominated currency. Now, those are the tough times that we're actually expecting. Now, I know I still have not yet answered the question of what to do, but I cannot tell you what to do before I explain to you what exactly happens. All right. Now, see, after understanding exactly that, now what exactly can you or what should you do? For example, if you're buying a 2 kg wheat flour, let's say maybe you're buying a 2 kg wheat flour, 2 kg wheat flour in Kenya is being sold at around, and I stand corrected, it's around, I think, 180 Kenyan shillings, if I'm not wrong. And if you're buying at that particular price, so probably maybe after 2, 3, 4 weeks, maybe you're going to get this price at around 200. So guess what? There is an increment of how much? 20 shillings. 20 shillings. And remember one thing, if you get paid like 40,000 per month, 40,000 per month, there is nothing like increment. This money remains the same. But you guess what? There is a ghost 20 shillings that has actually popped up from nowhere. Okay, now that ghost 20 shillings that has actually popped up from nowhere. For example, if you are actually saving like 10,000 per month out of this 40,000, guess what happens? You won't be able to save this. Mathematically, you won't be able to save this 20 shillings. I mean, this 10,000. So it will be this 10,000 subtract 20. Then you can do the mathematics. So how then can you accommodate this 20? And by the way, you may think as it's a small amount of money. It's just a flour. You go to something like rice. You go something like sugar. You go something like transport. You go to something like just those minute things. Then you might realize if you show up to do a shopping in a particular day, there is something like 220 Kenyan shillings gone. It has just actually been disappeared in a thin air. You know why? This 220 Kenyan shillings has actually been affected by the rate of the dollar. Now, how do you actually adjust yourself into this? Number one, see what? We usually say control the controllables. There are two ways. You either go ahead and sort of protest peacefully and tell the government to lower the cost. And the only way the government can actually lower the cost is to actually get what we call the subsidies. You know, they give some money to this company that makes this sweet flour or the ugali flour, that is the maize flour or fufu, whatever the kind of thing, so that at least the government can caution that. But that has a ripple effect. That cannot be sustained for a longer period of time because you not only need to eat, but also you need development. You need kids to get some it's a complex thing, guys. I want you to understand, and I'm going to use the simplest language for you to be able to do that. So that's a route that we can actually use to actually go ahead and do what? Be able to lower the cost. That's route A. But how long will it take? To what extent can you guys protest for the government to lower the cost? It takes like a whole time. So the other option is to, what can you do as an individual, at an individual level, as a responsible citizen? What exactly can you do to accommodate these things? Now, you go back to what we call the recurrent expenditure. The recurrent expenditure. These are the things that you consume. These are your food. These are your transport. These are your entertainment. These are your alcohol taking. These are your mpango wa kando. Oh, mpango wa kando, for those who don't understand Swahili, mpango wa kando means this... it's like having a wife and have a girlfriend at the same time, of which I do not advocate. It's very bad, but that's what I mean by the mpango wa kando. Kenyans know what I'm talking about. Now, see, all those things that you actually go ahead and check them, okay? You look at how much goes for your food, how much goes for your transport, okay? How much goes for your entertainment, okay? How much goes for your, sort of like black tax, how much goes for your school fees, how much goes for your, let's say fueling if you have a car, how much goes for your services, maybe the medical thing and what have you, how much goes for your, rent, for example. See, now you go back to the areas where you can be able to adjust. How much goes for your, what do we call the communication, the Wi-Fi, the connection and all those kind of things. Then you ask yourself, okay, fine. Can I do anything about the rent? Honestly speaking, and do not lie to yourself. Can I do anything about my rent? Yes, I can, but I don't think it's applicable for now. It will take me a little bit of time. It has a lot of moving part if I was to migrate from where I live to a different place. Okay, fine. That may not be the point or place to actually sort of disturb it. You go back to where you communicate. You see, okay, how much do you buy for your bundles if you buy internet using your mobile phone? So how much goes for my communication? Like how much do I top up in a day? Okay, fine. I usually top up like 60 shillings. And okay, what are most of the important costs that I usually make? Calling friends and what have you. Oh, okay. What if I reduce that to 40 shillings and salvage the 20? Damn, you've gotten the answer. You so go ahead and what? salvage on that. How much do I pay for my Wi-Fi? Does it make any sense to buy Wi-Fi and have the bundles at the same time? And you know, you may find somebody has a Wi-Fi back at home, they have a Wi-Fi at the job, and that guy also buys the internet for using their phone. So you can just say, hey, guess what? I'm gonna adjust myself. I'm gonna rely with the Wi-Fi back at my home, and I'm gonna rely on the Wi-Fi that is back at my job, and try to buy some few minutes. You know, you go to that package that can actually help you to salvage something. Remember one thing: there is a mysterious 220 shillings that we want to accommodate. So if you can be able to accommodate this, you still be able to save the what? The 10,000. And that's why you see people or hear people complain that, hey, guess what? This amount of money is not savable. We are unable to save and all those kind of things. Okay. Now you go back to food. You ask yourself, okay, what do we eat? Do I eat like a lot of times outside? Like maybe I buy lunch or something of sort, or maybe I buy myself some pizzas and burgers and what have you that are quite expensive. Do I, if I'm a bachelor, do I cook my house now? I actually buy food in a hotel. Wow, that's a little bit pricey. What if I decide to be cooking by myself? Oh, okay. Should I go? You know, you should start asking yourself critical questions. Okay, the areas that you can actually adjust yourself, so that at least you can be able to accommodate that ghost figure that has actually popped out from nowhere. Okay, now you go to the school fees, you ask yourself, okay, fine, I have myself some kids. Okay, I would love to give them the quality education of which I support as good, Joseph, but the question is, well, this school that I'm paying this school fees is quite pricey, it's quite high. Can I have an alternative? The kids get the similar quality of education. Yeah, I can have. And then you decide to go and pick that one. The other thing is about, using your car. Can I do some carpooling maybe 2 times in a week or 3 times in a week? You know, carpooling is when you, me, and maybe two of your friends, you have a car and you're like, you guys, you can pick each other so that at least you can salvage on. See, there is carpooling. You can go search what is carpooling. That can really help you. Yeah, I know what you're like. The ego and the pride deep inside of you cannot allow you to do the carpooling. Okay, it's okay. But remember one thing, I won't force you to do that, but remember one thing about life. You have to sacrifice. Yeah, and I know there's somebody who is about to comment on the comment section and say, instead of doing all those, Joseph, why don't you make more? Okay, then show us how to make more. You know, I really hate those kind of people who reason that way. People tell you, okay, instead of doing all those things, why don't you make more? Then they don't give you how to do it so that you can make more. Listen, if you cannot be able to save that what you actually earn, see, the way you can only make more, let me give a very simple example. You are an accountant. You actually work from 9 to 5. Actually, in Kenya, it's like 7 to 12, whichever. So, like the entire productive day, productive hours of the day, you are occupied. Okay, then make more, make more, make more. Tell me exactly, how will you make more? Okay, it is possible, it is doable, but how do you make more? The only way you can be able to make more is when you have the availability of the time, or option two, you salvage on what you can be able to save. This what you save, this is the magical thing. It's like you're creating an extra hand. This magical thing, you see, the way you usually give birth to babies and kids to help us in our things, in our lives. The same case applies when we save our money. We're actually creating an extra hand to help us. Now, this what you save is what you invest. See, now after investing, that's what you're getting as a passive income, aka baby money. That is what now you can term as doing what? As earning more. So when you tell somebody to consume the entire 40,000 that they are getting and you tell them to focus on making more, that sounds more like a motivational thing more than a real thing. And it's always good to differentiate between a motivational thing and a real thing. Right now, I'm giving you the real things, the real deal, the things that you're supposed to do. Okay, I don't know why am I reacting as if the guy has already commented on the comment section, but it is what it is. The point is this. Now, look all those areas, the black task, where can you actually adjust? Something to do with entertainment. How many times do you go for that joint, sort of drinking and nicing, car road trip, and how much do you, so that at least you can cut the cost. And once you cut the cost, you accommodate this amount of, and by the way, you'll just be hearing people complaining outside here, oh, the cost of living is high, I'm unable to save anything, and you're just laughing, you're like, come on, guys, you can just adjust yourself. That's the reality. You can do something about it. And that's how you grow yourself. And progressively, you can be able to do what? To attain what we call the financial freedom. So the point is this. The dollar has hit that amount of money. So don't act surprised when the cost of living goes high. Now, having equipped by all those necessities that you're supposed to do and incorporate in your life. So the moment those costs start showing up here and there, because they will start reflecting, they'll start reflecting. I was just going to buy some bubble gums. Back then, we used to buy 5 of them at 5 shillings. Nowadays, it's quite weird. Very weird. By the way, we are living at a very weird time. So if you do not program yourself, if you do not program your mind to adjusting yourself, you just want to maintain the status quo. You know, how you consume, you don't want to adjust anything. And then you're now taking all that responsibilities and pouring into the government. Hey, government should do something because I just want to maintain my lifestyle. I just want to live in this kind of a life. You know, I'm not ready to shake off anything. You're gonna have a very rough time. You're gonna hate everybody. You're gonna hate watching news. You're gonna hate like anything and everything. You become a very emotional person. Just know one thing: control the controllables. Never forget that point. Control the controllables. That's what you can control. Always ask yourself, am I doing the best? And if the question is yes, or rather if the answer is yes, that's the best thing that you can ever do in your life. And guess what, guys? If you'd like to get my customized services, you know, as far as the investments and finances are concerned, the real deal, the real things, okay? Pick that number of mine from the description of this specific video. Let's talk business. For just a coffee price, for just a cup of coffee's price, I offer my services. I literally open my brain for you, and we do something about it. Anyway, we have to fix our homes, and we have to fix Africa all together. For now, it's a goodbye and see you the next one.